Dio Brando and... Oh, wait, have I been here before? Oh yeah, I remember that. Well, he's changed between Phantom Blood and Stardust Crusaders. For the better, he's got a stand. Everything else, well, yeah, not really. Welcome to the Outside of series where I take a character from a franchise to list and calculate their feats to see how strong they are. Now, I usually go about this in an easy to approach format, but I'm going to be going back to my old ways and going to be adding more thought than needed for something here in fiction where it probably doesn't work the way that it's supposed to, but I'm taking the time to see what would happen if it did. That's going to be later. So, starting this off, let's approach the body stealer with his strength first. I'm going to be the one to tell you that Dio's strength is one of the most oddest things to approach for the following reasons. Not his body, natural strength, and body control. There's a certain strength that Jonathan held over Dio with it being in his Hamon modified muscles, and along with that, he became stronger than Dio over time. If you were to remove the vampire strength boost from Dio and the modification that Hamon gave to Jonathan, Jonathan would still be able to beat Dio and beat him pretty bad. Keeping that in mind, Dio had taken over Jonathan's body. So with taking over his body, you would think that he would hold the same strength as Jonathan, right? Well, that's a difficult thing to go about since his vampire essence is what's taking over the body and making it his, but there's still large traces of Hamon still left in the body of Jonathan, which means that it's more of the body that he can't use and control. So, he doesn't have enough control of the body to use it to its fullest potential or its natural strength that came with the body, and since he's not a full vampire, he doesn't get the boost that he did in Phantom Blood. So, that asks where exactly is Dio when there's so many things to consider? Well, there's an easy way to see where he stands in strength, but I'm also going to be going about figuring out in comparison to his original self. Where he stands in strength is at a reasonably strong level that's stronger than most of the stands in Stardust Crusaders, or even in all of JoJo if we're talking about pure strength. One of the most iconic moments we see in JoJo is Dio's infamous Road Roller attack, where he picks up a Road Roller from who knows where and throws it down onto Jotaro. There's a lot that goes down in here also, and it doesn't say whether or not if Dio had kicked off of the ground to lift the Road Roller or he did it with the world's assistance. In the manga, we see it being Dio who's having the Road Roller drop onto Jotaro. Even in the anime, they had paid attention to detail in the manga and still had it only being Dio. They also made sure to show that Dio was punching with the assistance with the world when he's attacking Jotaro. So, I'd honestly take that Road Roller as a Dio feat. A Road Roller with two drums like the one that Dio had used are usually weighing in about 28,000 to 35,000 pounds, but with it being in the times of the early 90s when publishing and being in the late 80s in Stardust Crusaders, it's safe to say that the older forms of the Road Rollers would be weighing in more about 32,000 to 35,000. There's also a chance of the weight of the specific Road Roller varying due to them being in Egypt. Since Araki had taken the design from Egypt directly, it's different. And while some people don't think that Araki pays attention to detail, trust me, he definitely does. So here I think that it's safe to say that Dio can lift above 30,000 pounds, which is good. Now, where is Dio in comparison to his original self? While figuring out how he works was odd, how to find this out isn't that difficult. In Dio's prime, his regeneration beat out a large amount of fire burning him as if nothing happened. His slightest moves had killed, and he had survived being split down the middle. In Stardust Crusaders, you would be able to expect more if Awakened Dio was on the same level of original Dio, but he wasn't. Before Dio had taken the blood of Joseph, he had taken a blow to the head from Jotaro. That punch alone had put him in this ridiculously damaged state where he had felt a lot of these human feelings that a vampire normally wouldn't. Plus, if you think a lot about the capabilities of vampires, you can just refer to Straizo and how he took so many point-blank grenades and still regenerated from it. If Dio's power and vampire percentage is parallel to his regeneration, which it should be, then that means he's around 20 to 25% Dio. That begs the question, well, where does Awakened Dio stand then? He looks a lot stronger than how he was before taking Joseph's blood, but then you have to think about whose blood is he really taking, and how it's affecting the body. Since it's Joseph's blood, it's both Joestar and Hamon blood. While it being blood and contributing to his regeneration since he's a vampire, it's blood for Jonathan's body. So it's most likely allowing Dio to tap into more of Jonathan's pure strength and also somewhat helping him get back to normal. Since it's Hamon blood, it's also possible that it's doing a bit worse for him. So Dio we see before is 20 to 25%. Awakened Dio is around 35 to 40%. Dio in Phantom Blood is 100%, and Dio with Jonathan's body, if fully controlled and made his, would make him around 120 to 125%. That's speaking more on in terms of strength. After 100%, his regeneration is honestly as good as it gets. So to put it in perspective, Dio with the world had broken a few bones when punching Jotaro, since Star Platinum's defense is on par with the world's attack. If Dio was at where he wanted to be, he would have blown right through Jotaro, since it would have been the same as two worlds punching Jotaro at the same time. Or well, two the worlds, I guess that's how that works. Adding on to that, you have to think about how strong Jonathan was. He had ended up being stronger than Tarkus, who had lifted up a mountain, and that was just due to an extreme surge of Hamon given to him by Zeppeli. So, putting Jonathan and Dio together is just one of those things that you don't want to mess with. Now, going on into his speed, I believe that this is something that stayed relatively the same. There's a difference between original Dio and now Dio, but it's not anything noticeable in terms of speed. But there is something I came across though, since some people noticed it. When Dio was punching down on the road roller, the hands of the world had shown with his arms. So I was thinking about it either being Dio being supported by the world in his punches, or Dio's punching with the same speed as the world. We're shown that Star Platinum and the world are supposed to be punching at the same speed, so if that holds up to here and they're punching at the same speed in this situation, then that would say a lot about Dio. But light speed combat. To be safe, I'll say he's being supported by the world, but the hot take is going to be Dio is punching at the speed of the world, which means he's punching at light speed. But most likely, Dio is remaining hypersonic at most. On to his durability, which we saw. We know of his regeneration, but his durability is something else. He's been hit by Star Platinum multiple times over and was alive for almost all of it. Granted, he needed blood to recover from a lot of his injuries, so he's getting benefits. I had already gone over Jotaro in a different video, but you got Jotaro at his most serious against Dio. Against Kakyoin, who was someone who he helped recover from the beating he had gave him, he had blown out the side of the school building. At his most serious, he had gone full out to the point of where his punches had left holes in Dio. But to be able to take prime Jotaro punches and not immediately die is extremely notable. Those are city block level blows, and Dio surprisingly just doesn't explode from that alone. So that finishes off his durability. Now, the final thing to approach on Dio is his ability to stop time. At the end of Stardust Crusaders, he was able to stop time for 9 seconds, which was significantly better than his original 5 seconds. If Dio had been able to live past the events of Stardust Crusaders, he would be able to extend his length of time even further, which would have us ending up in Eyes of Heaven after a while. I had a video discussing the potential of Dio and if he had survived the events of Stardust Crusaders and what would happen onto that, but back on the time stop. While we're told that time stop is usually done in the span of seconds, from how we're shown in the anime, you'd think it's been going on for minutes, but it's just safe to say that when he has an access to his 9-second time stop ability, it's usually more than enough for the people you'd put Dio up against. Or unless you're some of those people that put Dio up against Planet Busters, which I could be extremely puzzled on because that's not how that works here. Dio, a vampire that could have been stronger by making better decisions, but you know, he does well. I'd like to see a canonical take on it by Araki than a logical theory, but not at the end of Stardust Crusaders Dio, but if Dio had won, but before the Heaven Plan. There's information given in JoJo 6251 or 6251 for anyone else, which I guess works to help make the theory even closer to canon, since that's what the description that we get off of the world gives us, but that's about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have another JoJo character or any character you want to see, be sure to leave it in the comments. I've got requests to move on to DIO, but I've also got requests for characters like Polnareff, Wamu, and Kakyoin. There's also a few other characters from 1 through 3 that people have asked about, but I'm mentioning the most notable ones so you guys get the idea. So that's still up in the air if you guys want me to go about that, but you guys can get it. I'm pretty sure you all figure it out. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep up with my media in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Wait, I just said that. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about Kirby. That's me as of recent. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Follow my Twitch. I'm probably gonna be streaming Kirby more. Until then, peace out and Godspeed.